It is another episode of the Funhouse Podcast, the unedited Funhouse Podcast. So what you hear and what you see, or both, is what you get, right?
Yep.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about a little bit about the Switch, some PS news, PlayStation 4 news. Of course, PS5 is the big deal for PlayStation, but there is some PS5 news. Sorry, I didn't mean PS4. Like I said, unedited. Let's get into it. Funhouse Podcast, unedited. So, some of the fun, interesting news going on in the world of gaming. There is rumors of Nintendo Switch 2, which is probably not even called Switch 2, but that's just what everyone's labeling it as. It would make sense to me if there was a new Switch, it'd be called the Switch 2. But isn't that the OLED, I think?
Yeah.
I would think that would be the OLED would be considered the Switch 2, even though the Switch OLED was just a bigger screen and had some bugs that they fixed on it, what have you. But I'm excited if there's a Switch 2, but it'd be interesting as well if they came up with something different. As long as they don't call it the Switch U. You know how like the Wii had the Wii U? So don't call it the Switch U. That would be weird.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's coming, apparently. It hasn't been confirmed. Nintendo's really quiet about it. One of the quotes given by Nintendo is, it won't release anything until financial year is over. That means maybe March 2024, so you could hear an announcement as early as maybe April this coming year. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But Nintendo wants to, and this is a big thing, especially during the COVID pandemic stuff, with scalping. Nintendo's got apparently a plan for scalping. They don't want people to be buying them, and then raising the price by like $200-$300 because stores don't have a huge quantity of them. So I think that was a big thing that was really frustrating for a lot of people that were buying the PS5 and the new Xbox. I believe,
Yes.
that was something that you were reading a lot, and I was seeing a lot. People were going on places like Marketplace or Macari or wherever, and they were really scalping these things like crazy, and it was insane. Just buy your one console or two. Most people buy two. I think most people, not me, because I think most people will, of course, open the box to play, and then you want the other one. If you're a collector, you're going to put it away. It's sealed and have some value somewhere down the road. But we'll see with that. One of the interesting things is with the new Nintendo Nintendo Switch 2, I guess. Nintendo's being very dodgy about their next release console, which is smart.
Yeah.
They don't want to give too much because they're probably still trying to work out some things, I'm sure. So hopefully 2024 we'll see something. But that's what we got on that. There's not a whole lot going on around about that. But PS5 is in the news for the holiday season with Christmas not far away. We're already in July.
Yep.
They apparently, and Microsoft released this is the weird thing. Microsoft is putting this out that they believe that PlayStation is putting out a PS5 Slim, which will be coming around the holiday season, which would be interesting. So apparently a PS5 Slim will be coming. If you got the PS5, that thing's gigantic. It's very big. It's insane.
Yeah, and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the more known as a big PS5 console. It's more bigger than the original PS4, which I happen to own in my room right now. And the PS5, is it worth it? In my opinion, kind of, but at the same time too, in my opinion, it's not. The PS4, in my opinion, is more superior for games that have been released. But with PS5, there's still a lot more games coming down the road, with a lot of the titles nowadays coming a lot more bigger and more companies wanting to expand their games for it. I would recommend still, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, I would recommend going for the PS4.
Yeah. So, if you've seen the PS5 or if you own a PS5, they tower pretty tall. And I know it's the thing that a lot of people always kind of say with PS5 is, which way do you set it? Do you stand it up? Do you lay it on its side? So, either way you put it, the thing is gigantic. So, I'm excited to see what a PS5 Slim will look like. That could be exciting. And it's going to apparently go for like $399.90, so $400. It's going to be a $400 console. So, I think it's probably going to be a big seller, which is smart by PlayStation as you get into the Christmas time, that they're re-releasing PS5, but as a Slim. So that'd be interesting to see. And with the PS5 Slim, could we also see a PS5 Pro? Yeah. Could a Pro be coming down the line as well?
We have seen a PS4 Pro, which has been released on separate consoles. So maybe not. So who knows?
Yeah, so we'll see on that. And some of the interesting things we were kind of looking at as we move forward in the podcast, the Switch. Every time we go looking for Switch games or we go and buy Switch games, there's a lot of Switch games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Switch games.
And how many are there?
Yeah. And one of the things that really kind of grabbed my attention for a moment was Nintendo overall. What was the total amount of games that were released for any Nintendo console? So I just wanted to run through as we build up to the Nintendo Switch some of the Nintendo games that were released. Like for instance, on the original NES, there were 716 games total that had released for the NES original console.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. I don't have half that many. I mean,
we probably have like maybe 1%. Maybe?
Yeah, we have a good amount of NES games, but
we do have some interesting NES games. Like for example, we have Bible Adventures, which is about the Bible, which is cool.
Yeah, recently picked up Beetlejuice, which is
a fun.
That's a fun, very fun game as well. So I would say overall, we probably have maybe 200, maybe of the NES games. You know,
yeah,
it's a fun console to this day. The Super NES
How
console,
many are there?
It had 1,757 games, so you can see where they went up in numbers as the Super NES came out. And
we still don't have that many.
Yeah,
we have a lot though.
And the N64, this probably has the least amount because they only released 388 games for this N64. So that's pretty interesting as well. Nintendo GameCube had 650. It was 650 games for the Nintendo game. And unfortunately, Nintendo GameCube is not my favorite console. It's got some really good games.
They have some good titles.
They have some really good games. It wasn't one of my favorites. One that I collect a lot of games, or we collect a lot of games for, is the Wii. The Wii, and the Wii has a lot.
The Wii has over 1,640, and that's a lot.
That's easy to believe because I've seen a lot of strange Wii games that I bought and played. I'm like, this is just weird game. It's horrible. But we still buy it anyways because something about the Wii. I don't know what it is about the Wii. The Wii is an interesting console. I think one day the Wii games, the Wii will be like what the NES was, because I think the Wii, for a lot of kids that had a Wii, that's going to be their NES and their go-to. So eventually one day Wii game prices will go up. That would be fun to see, or interesting to see.
My main question is how many Wii are there? It's the second version of the Wii.
Yeah, and the Wii U actually didn't last as long as Nintendo hoped. So the fact that there are 795 Wii U games that were available, that's interesting because Wii U did not last
a very long time.
It was not very popular at all. As well as with the Nintendo Switch.
Let's see how many.
Nintendo Switch is crazy. And this is current because there's NES or Nintendo Switch games still being produced.
Sure.
Still being put out. And I come across Switch games all the time. And these are, I've never heard of half these titles. Half these titles I'm like, wow, I didn't know they even came out. And apparently it just released. But as of right now, there is 4,516
games.
That is insane.
And so, most of them.
Yeah. And most of them are just oddball games. But Limited Run makes a lot of Switch games. But they make a lot of games in general for all the consoles that people are still playing. But that's really weird because that is a huge amount of games. That's more games. If you do the math, maybe about the same amount of games put the NES, the 64, the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U.
Yeah.
You know, you put all those together. Maybe even if you put like the Game Boy games or what have you, but that's a lot of games. And that's not counting that they're not done playing games yet. So, the fact that there's almost 5,000 Switch games, that is crazy. I mean, I've got a small collection of Switch games, and I really enjoy the Switch. And the reason I brought up the how many Switch games there were, because before we videoed this episode, I was just curious because I'm always seeing Switch games for sale, either online somewhere or when we follow like Limited Run, or you go to a GameStop or any game store, retro gaming stores are selling a lot of Switch games. I'm surprised that every time I go into any game store that there is always a Switch game I have never seen or heard of not counting the games, of course, that everyone's played or everyone's going after, like Zelda, Metroid, and the Super Mario Brothers Wonder. Oh, super excited to play that game. That is going to be a fun game. If you've seen the trailer, as Nintendo released some of the trailers for the Wonder game, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really anxious to play the Mario. I guess you would call it Elephant Mario. I'm guessing that's what it would be. It is Elephant Mario. If you've seen the clip of Elephant Mario, it looks fun. He's got a mustache and everything. I talked about this recently before, and it's gonna be a fun game. It looks like a fun game. I think my family's gonna enjoy playing it. I like the fact that there's just so much going on in that. But anyways, I'm still just mind blown that there are so many Switch games, and I had to use my phone just to kind of get an idea. But we were on the topic of how many games total there are, and I know one of the things Yankee was looking at as we're getting into this episode, it was like, what was it, PS4?
PS4 games.
Yeah, he was looking at some of the
more rare exclusive ones and
rare games for the PS4, and he was kind of getting an idea of what are some of the rare go-tos, because sometimes the so-called rare games or rare games kind of slip past a lot of people because, one, they just maybe didn't make a lot of them, or they didn't get a lot of publicity, or I don't know what it, or it was just popularity of a minimum amount of the games released, and people loved it, and there was maybe X amount of copies made, and everyone wanted it. So that's just one interesting thing. But PS4 is a big thing that Yankee plays a lot of, so he knows a little bit more about what's going on PS4.
So
and those rare games.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go over the top 5.
Top 5
right now, because I couldn't find like a top 10. So the number 5 spot, and this game is called Retro City Rampage DX, which is a 2014 game. Which, looking at the title, it looks like Back to the Future, because if you look closely, it looks like a.
I think a version of that as well came out on the Switch. I
Yeah.
think. Limited run, right? Yep.
Yeah.
I think the Switch. That is actually too. Now, when you say that, that's a game that I've been trying to find, and it is not cheap.
This game goes around $150 to $350 nowadays, which is interesting for a game like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen anything like that. And number 4 is, how would you say that? Gryphon Night Epic 2017. So this game has produced over 999 copies, and it did sell. And if you were trying to buy one, and if it was unopened, it would be $400 to $500 right there, which is not bad. I never heard of it. So, and this one is a Japan game, and it's called Tumashi from 2020. So this was during COVID probably. And it came out on Halloween, and it's just over. On eBay, it's listed for $700 to $2,000, but if you were to list it on sites, it is $1,000 to $2,000. And coming in the number 2 spot, Poop Slinger. I'm not joking by that title.
Slinger.
Poop Slinger.
And it
2019.
literally has a picture of and a digital, maybe 8-bit looking poop.
Yep. This game is rumored to be selling for $2,000 to $6K, but if it was unopened and listed on eBay, about $14K, which is a lot of money. And number 1, a game that I would expect it, is PT, which is a Silent Hill game that did not get released because of, I think it was due to the graphics and due to a lot of interesting things that they were carrying on with it. The game did feature a very famous character.
Mm-hmm.
I think he plays Daryl from Walking Dead, and he's also on Death Strangling, which it's a good game. I've already played it. So the game got cut. I don't know why, but if you did have it on your PS4, it will pretty much go for a lot. I have to find the price for it. It goes for $350 to $1,200. Even though it is a rare game, that doesn't mean most rare games are going to be expensive.
Yeah, and most rare games, I've come across some rare games. Can't afford them, but I have had opportunities to play some of them.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it's more of if you just like that genre of gaming. You know, some games are good, some games aren't.
And that is a horror game too.
Yeah. One of the other things I was thinking about as we're doing the podcast was You're seeing a lot of TV shows made based on games. You're seeing movies based on games.
Like Mario.
The Mario Brothers movie was a huge success, and now there's going to be more and more. But one of the things is, what are some of the games we'd like to see into movies? And one of the fun articles I seen from Digital Trends puts on here, and one immediately popped up was the BioShock.
BioShock is a really good series if you have played it.
BioShock is kind of
it's more sky-based thing,
yeah.
but it is still really good.
It's interesting to see how the concept that they would do for a BioShock, because it's going to be expensive. I think it would be expensive to make that and develop that, but that would be an interesting game because that is a very popular series. Some of the other games that I'm looking at, if I can find them, Castlevania. Now they have done Castlevania animated cartoon.
I've seen
one on the Netflix shows, and it was actually pretty good.
If you haven't seen it on Netflix, it's called Castlevania.
Yep.
It is a good Netflix show. You
It
should
was
watch
short.
it.
I think it's like 3 seasons, 4 seasons.
3
like
4
that.
seasons. I've already finished it personally. It is
It's,
one of my personal favorites too.
So the Castlevania movie would be interesting. You'd have to make sure it's Simon Belmont, not Trevor.
And it would have
to be Simon Belmont.
And my only thing is though, with games turning into movies, you have to find the right actor to play as that character too.
Yeah. So that would be. I would love to see a Castlevania movie, but then it's a matter of how R-rated would they make it, or would they make it PG-13? Because it is like a horror type game. If you played Castlevania from the NES, that's a hard game. Castlevania 2 was hard and it sucked.
3 was annoying. I couldn't even figure out how to fight the first boss. It took me like a few days just to figure it out.
So I would buy a ticket for Castlevania, and it's got to have the right character. I don't know who I would pick to be Simon Belmont, but
I'd love to see.
It would be interesting.
I would love to see Arnold come back.
Arnold's too old though.
True.
Can't do that. But another one that in the talks of it could be a game into a movie is
Deuces X. It's a game for the PS3, Xbox 360.
Is that the game with the guy on the cover looks like Matrix?
Yeah. So the game is like Cyberpunk. If you have seen the TV show,
I've never played it.
It is a really good game. I played it. I never finished it though. It would be interesting though to see a Cyberpunk theme where it's like that. I would love to see that though.
That would be interesting. Far Cry.
Far Cry is my opinion, it's one of the best survival series, in my opinion. And the 6th one they made. If you have watched The Mandalorian, what is his name?
Oh, the Pedro Pascal guy.
Not him. The villain.
Yeah.
Giovanni something.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, he's the guy that plays in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's really famous for it too. I love his character and it too, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, another good one that would be Halo.
Halo,
but
would be
they have done.
They have done a Halo knockoff TV show.
Game animated, no, not really animated, computerized, digital, whatever, movies of them, which I tried to watch it and I'm like, I wasn't too good about it, but
Halo would be interesting.
You'd have to have the right director to do a Halo, but I think that would be expensive too.
Yeah, because if you think about it,
it'd be a lot of graphics, CGI, and lasers.
It'd be like a Terminator film.
Yeah. Or maybe Star Wars. I wonder if the sounds of the guns would sound like Star Wars Stormtrooper blasters, maybe. Who knows? But it's one of those things too. If Hollywood decides to go this route like they did with Marvel and they start making games into movies, you gotta do it right. Because game fans, whether old or new, will be very judgmental, unfortunately. I mean, I went into Super Mario thinking,
I didn't understand.
Regardless, I'm going to enjoy it. Cause
I thought I wasn't going to understand it because I was thinking, is it going to just be like about the levels or what is it going to be about?
It'd have been great if it was about the original Mario and it was all in pixel and nobody talked.
That'd be perfect.
That'd been kind of weird. Silent film. Legend of Zelda.
I
would love to see Legend of Zelda movie.
That would be interesting though. But who would play?
Who would be Link?
Who would play Zelda?
Who would be Link?
That's a good question. Actually.
I don't know. To be continued.
Ryan Gosling.
He's too old.
No, he's not. If you haven't watched, they are making a Barbie movie.
I don't want to see a Barbie.
I might go see it with my friends. It's gonna be funny.
So Legend of Zelda, I think of all the movies so far, or games, possibly the movies, Legend of Zelda is one I would definitely, really would like to see. For me, I'd like to see a lot of the old games that are turned into movies. Mario was one that was like, I grew up on Mario. Zelda's another one. Metroid's another one. Kid Icarus would be great. I wonder if they would do an Excite Bike.
Well, then what would the plot be about?
I don't know. He's a racer.
Yeah, but most, if you think about it, most bike movies aren't really that bad.
Yeah.
They actually turn out to be really good for some
Yeah.
reason too.
And if they did a Zelda movie, what game would they pick? That would be an interesting.
They should pick the first one.
They should poll Zelda fans. What game would you want the movie kind of be based around? And there's a lot of
one.
you got
Or
Wind Waker.
You have Ocarina of Time.
And you got Breath of the Wild, which is amazing. I still haven't beaten it. I haven't really gotten back to playing it because I've been playing other games. But there's so many. I mean, you could even play original Zelda.
True.
Storyline. So that would be. I think that would be the hardest part. Is what Zelda storyline? If they picked one, maybe they would just kind of mash them up. Mass Effect is another one that would come out. This is one I know of, but I never played.
I own it. I never really played it though. It's not. It's
Maybe-
more like a pick or choose type
Yeah.
of. It's like pick or choose. It's like the Tattletale series. You've seen like The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
which I think they should make a Walking Dead movie. There already is a TV show. but
Yeah, I think that's kind of getting old though.
True.
Like
It's
people are getting tired of that. But it would be interesting. I think that would be more of a TV show.
true. It could.
But another good one that started with the NES, Metal Gear.
Solid.
Metal Gear anything. Metal Gear Snake Eyes, probably my favorite. That was NES.
Was it the very first one, right?
That
came
was
out?
the Snake Eyes. Was this no?
No, because the one I'm thinking of.
The
is
one I
Snake's
remember,
Revenge.
Metal Gear was just Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Original.
It was originally Metal Gear, and then it was.
Metal Gear would be the new Jason Bourne movies, I think.
I would think Metal
Jack
Gear.
Reaper or whatever. Reacher.
I would really think. I wouldn't really know a good actor to play as.
Me? I'd be good.
Or what was his name? He played in The Matrix. I keep forgetting his name.
Oh, Keanu Reeves?
Yeah,
He could probably do it, maybe.
he's really. I love his John Wick movie. He did really
Maybe they
good.
bring Arnold back for that.
He's too.
Oh, and another one like I mentioned.
Metroid.
Yeah. Metroid would be another expensive movie to make.
Yeah, I have never really personally played Metroid, but I have seen that it's a really good game to play.
Metroid is a fun game. Space age, sci-fi type. It's fun. Metroid would not be around still if people didn't like it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great series. I grew up on the original Metroid. If you're hearing sound effect in the back, that's
Or my littlest. That's my littlest
that's
brother.
my youngest son playing Hot Wheels. That's another movie that's coming soon from J.J. Abrams. Hot Wheels. How are you going to do that? We'll see. So
Okay.
Metroid would be interesting. I think that would be.
Oh, and Midnight
Now, see,
Club.
I don't know about Midnight Club because to me that would be like Fast and the Furious. Fast and the Furious got really, for me, it got really out there. So
For me,
Midnight Club could be good. Just keep the hokiness out of it. I think would be my opinion.
I think don't put in Vin Diesel. That's what I would thought.
Yeah, I think you would have to go fresh, new, young cast, totally different from a Fast and the Furious type movie, and keep the hokiness out of it. Keep it more
Midnight
about
Club,
racing.
if you have played the game, it's a really fun
It's a fun
racing
game.
I
The
played
arcade racing cabinet
It's amazing.
Every time
I
you
think
see,
it's- I think it's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the best
Yeah.
racing games out there.
Anytime I see Midnight Club and it's the arcade
Yes.
and you can sit down and play, it's fun. I like the graphics, the fun music that you can pick from. I think Midnight Club could be good, but keep it Midnight Club. Stay away from anything Fast and Furious. That's been done. That's done.
And in my opinion, the game that they should make a movie on is Red Dead Redemption. It is a
Yeah.
Western type game.
This
That-
is very, very popular. So.
They made Red Dead Redemption 1, and then they've done an Undead series, which was amazing. Where it's the same characters from the very first one, but you fight against zombies. And then Red Dead Redemption 2, which tells a better story. In my opinion,
I think that could be a good Western movie.
I think it should go based off of almost like the good and bad and the ugly.
I think they could really do with Red Dead Redemption, take all the story plots and kind of look at a lot of the fun classic Western movies, kind of put a little bit of that Young Guns fun thrill in it, but like you were saying, the Clint Eastwood stuff.
The Clint Eastwood, or for some reason that came to my head, Buster Douglas. If you watch that film, he's a very
True Grit would be another way of. So I think if you're going to do a Red Dead, you really want to take note of some of the classic westerns, and just of course make it to today's standards. But I think
my only thing though,
that would be an easy movie to do. I think.
But the only thing though, in my opinion, if you were gonna make a movie like that, you would have to find a lot of cast members too.
Yeah, like a lot of horses.
Yeah, a lot of horses are in that game. But my thing is though, with like casting and games, you have to find out who is more suitable with what. Like when they did Chris Pratt with Mario, I thought that was good. because I love that he did it. Jack Black, in my opinion, he's not better than the original, obviously, like the original actor, but I think he's a really good one.
I think Jack Black was, of course, the highlight. But I can remember the voice. I remember that I can.
Is it Toad or your?
Well, the guy that was the voice of Luigi, he did great. He didn't have a lot. of lines.
I know which one you're talking about. He's in on. I love it. I love the actor that played his son. But like I was going on, if you're going to do games that are based off of movies, or like movies that are based off of games, it kind of takes a bunch of time and patience, and you have to, in my opinion, you have to play the game to understand everything before you start writing down the script, getting the actors, and what you're gonna do. In my opinion, Ghostbusters is one of the bigger examples for me, because when they did Ghostbusters originally, it was amazing, but there wasn't a game back then. Well, besides the Atari and the NES version, the NES Ghostbusters 1, I will always say to this day, is the worst game they made.
Which one?
The very first Ghostbusters game on the NES.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like it personally because I thought it was really dumb. Because the point of Ghostbusters is more like you're driving to all these places, getting out of your vehicle, and catching ghosts.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, one of the best titles for Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters 2013, where they actually brought back all the original cast too. They brought them all back, and they did an entire storyline game, which was amazing. Cause I played it. It was probably, in my opinion, one of the best games they've done. And going off of that, Mario was amazing. They've done Doom. I didn't really understand the plot, but it's Doom. It's a fun game. Assassin's Creed, which is one of my.
Well, they did the Doom movie.
Yeah.
With The Rock, which was horrible.
It wasn't really.
It was nothing. Well, it was. Yeah, it was Doom. Yeah, it was horrible.
It is on Netflix.
Probably his worst movie, but the Gamer had a 10 video games I'm shocked haven't been made into shows or movies, which is pretty much what we're talking about. But some of the games on this list is like Tetris.
Tetris doesn't really need to be a game.
Do you want to see a movie of Tetris? I mean, they did the Battleship.
Okay, Battleship wasn't bad.
It was fun, but it was.
Stupid. It was kind of awkward.
Wasn't bad. It just was like, okay, it's Battleship. How do you do this?
Stardew Valley, it's not a good game. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, you can easily make a movie out of that, but it'd be
it's like a farming simulator.
Little House on the Prairie, maybe. I don't know. Dive Kick. I don't know.
I have never
played Dive Kick, so I really can't comment on something I don't know. The Sims.
Would be interesting, but
all that is modern day soap operas that people watch during the week at home.
True. And
the Sims games, they're okay.
I never found interest.
I recently tried to play the Herbs.
Is
Sims,
it the fourth one?
The Sims Herbs.
Oh,
PS2.
Yeah,
I played about 10 minutes. I was like, I can't play it.
Sims games aren't really that interesting.
Octodad.
Deadliest
Catch. That actually could be a fun pixel movie, or pixel
or fun
Illumination.
Yeah.
The people that make Minions. That could be interesting. It looks very cartoony and could be very kid friendly.
There have been a rumor going on that's saying there could be a Pac-Man movie coming out soon too.
How would you do that though? Oh, an untitled Goose Game.
That'd be perfect. No,
that is number 4 on their list. I beat that game recently.
I think they should, and the main actor
make the goose talk.
Yes,
he doesn't talk in the show or in the game,
but they should have it where the actual
kind of like how Pikachu talks,
or Aflac. If you know that ad, Aflac.
Mm-hmm.
They should do that entire film where it's just about a duck.
Mm-hmm. Kingdom Hearts would be interesting. It is very popular. That could be a fun sci-fi.
Or I would see that as more like a Disney type movie.
So that could be fun.
Goat Simulator.
I've never played this.
Goat Simulator is where he plays a goat. And
as long as it doesn't do that annoying laugh, because that Thor movie really just killed it for me.
Yeah, Love and Thunder is
But something about goats.
Yeah, Love and Thunder wasn't really that good for me.
Mass Effect, yeah, we were talking about that. That's what they have as number 1 is Mass Effect. So that's interesting. They have Mass Effect as number 1. Anyways, the main thing we were talking about was the Switch 2 rumors. If it's a Switch 2, we don't know. PS5 Slim.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, in the Christmas time, we'll see. And if it is, it'd be $400. So I'm interested to see when they maybe release images of what this Slim could look like. And will there be a PS5 Pro? Will it be a Slim?
Yeah. And we're going to end it off with our last 2 topics real quick. So I'm going to end off our first one, which is games that I honestly think which are the best for the PS5. For my number 5, I've always put it in Saifu. It is a really good ninja game where you every time that you die you get older, but you get more wiser. So you don't want to die a lot. The second one is Star Wars: The Fallen Order, which is the newer one that took place after the other game. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, the Fallen Order. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the new ones.
Another one for me is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Hmm.
It is a good remake. I loved it. I think it was amazing. Jack Black is actually in the game too. He's a Easter egg character that you can unlock. God of War Ragnarok, if you got in the PS5 that comes with God of War Ragnarok, it is a good game to get because it is a fun, amazing game that continues after the PS4 one. And Elden Ring, which last year won the Game of the Year for being one of the best and the hardest games made by some of my personal favorites. But the game I've always said that you should get is Resident Evil Village. So Resident Evil Village takes place after the events of Resident Evil 7, which takes place in our new named character, Ethan Winters. He is one of my personal favorites now because he shows that he can do anything and fight up against any boss. And if you have played Village, you understand there's a lot of scary scenes in it.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are watching or listening have probably played Resident, because that ended up being huge. Huge game.
There is one
great
scene.
storyline.
There is one scene in the game.
And the main villain, what's her name?
Mother Miranda. She is a
Great.
very interesting villain.
That was a good choice for a villain.
My opinion, though, the scariest scene is the baby scene. The baby's not even an actual baby. It is a big size worm.
It is Kermit the Frog.
That'd be funny. But also, too, new PS5 games that are coming out. Spider-Man 2. It is featuring both Spider-Man characters, Miles Morales and the original Spider-Man, and the symbiote is making a return, which I think was amazing. And whenever they make Miles Morales, so you'll be seeing both the good version of Peter and the bad version.
I'm intrigued.
And Hitman 3 is another good game. It is fun.
Okay. So there you have it. That's we try not to go too long on the Untitled podcast. If there's other podcasts, I don't know any other podcasts that don't edit. What you get is what you get, right?
Yeah.
So if we mess up, we just keep going, or we try to keep going. It is what it is. Like you heard some of the stuff in the background, that are kids walking around all over the place.
Yep.
You got a big house, and they're in the room right next to us, or right with us. But that's all good. That's why we are the Funhouse Podcast, the Funhouse Retro Funhouse Podcast team. Also, check out our YouTube channel. We haven't done a video in a while. We've been taking a little bit of a break. It's summertime, we kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
But we are working on some stuff. We got some stuff coming up. We got some cons and conventions coming up. So we're gonna go from there. But anyways,
and also too, our last subject. My birthday. My birthday is in a few days. I will be turning 16. And if you don't remember from my last year, we went to Austin for my birthday, which was amazing. I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do, but yeah, I will be turning 16. And yeah, we're gonna probably figure something out. And also too, we will be out of town soon. We will be going to Kansas.
We'll be going somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's what we got. So, till next time, guys. Thanks for listening or watching or both, whichever one you do. We appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more podcast episodes. This was only our 7th one, and stay tuned for more videos of, you know what, game hunting, conventions, blah 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 blah, and blah blah. Anything that's fun.
Yeah.
Family friendly, 100%. We enjoy it. We like it. We hope you like it. And we'll see you next time.
Join the fun.